Okay, yeah. In the years following the end of the Golden Age, competing factions of Argent D'Nur turned against one another. An insidious influence had beset itself upon the Sentinel people, corrupting its once held sacred traditions. The Colosseum, once a place of honorable combat where prisoners of the Argenta were tested for the right to fight in the front lines of their army, has since become a place of blood sport. In violation of Sentinel law, the priests have encaged a demon there, a merciless executioner used to enact judgment of their own decree. The gladiator, wielding an accursed shield which entombs the tormented soul of his undying master, remains undefeated in battle, infamous for the many lives it has claimed. Necroval, Part 1. The city of Necroval was built in Hell by the combined effort of the makers and Sentinel engineers, designed to produce a continuous flow of Argent energy. Constructed of stone and fell steel on a foundation of uncounted corpses, the sprawling fortress funnels a constant stream of victims towards Kalibas, the sightless judge. This ancient demon is a rare breed, unable to communicate or move without great difficulty. It exists as an overseer of sorts, awaiting as cages packed with the recently slain are brought before it, determining which souls are candidates for the Argent process. Operating not unlike a large-scale slaughterhouse, Necroval is divided into many sections. The most immediately accessible portions contain the Abaddon Pit, an enormous chasm where victims are herded. Beyond Kalibas, the Argent-worthy souls are directed deeper into the Black Fortress. Those who he renders unfit are discarded as waste, their tortured souls thrown into the burning sludge of the blood swamps. That sounds bad. Hey! Looky looky! That's actually, cool. Anyways, Fuel the Eternal Flame, Part 1. Translation from the Corax Tablets. The transformation of mortal creature into demon is a laggard and gradual process, one that can take eons to transpire without the catalyst of Argenta intervention. The victim is left to maunder in the Shadowland for years uncounted, where over ageless time they transform into demon. During their nightmarish journey, the ethereal soul slowly drains from the body, and in that dark realm the substance of mortal life is manifest as matter. It gathers in pools of volatile aura found all over Hell. Demonkind call these pools the Well, and use them to invigorate themselves for battle. It is from this aura that the essence is formed. By melding it with Wraith energy, that which lights the darkened hall and sets the Sentinel world ablaze, the essence is founded. The combining of these primal energies creates Argent energy, a power source so potent, so incalculably formidable, that it has consumed the Argenta and driven us on to greater influence than was ever possible with Wraith power alone. Necroval Part 2. Sorry, trying to catch my breath. This is one of the soul spires identified in the Argenta text, built into the central columns of Necroval. Although most soul spires were linked directly to Argent D'Nur through a Hell Priest created continuum gate, this particular one is linked to Urdak, the home world of the Makers. There is no continuum gate here, presumably due to the Con Maker's natural distrust of those under her charge. The soul spires were designed by the Makers to accelerate the processing of mortal victims into Argent energy, and built in secret by Sentinel slaves under the direction of the Order Deeg. This forced labor was a crucial step in fulfilling the Con Maker's desire for Argent, as beings from Urdak are unable to cross over to Hell's dimension. Fuel the Eternal Flame Part 2. The Maker's need for the essence is prime. Without it, they must suffer the monstrous fate of transfiguration and see their wisdom and faculties slither from their twisted forms. By the bidding of the Khanmaker herself, the Order of the Deeg has devised a method to improve and accelerate the production of the Hell Aura. What once took eons for the savage beasts to attain can now be accomplished in short order by Argenta intellect, and with greater efficiency and consistency. We constructed the Soul Spires, vast halls erected in the savage lands by our slaves and under direction of the Order. Even though we raised a monument on their ground, demonkind does not harry us during the assembly of the Soul Spires, for the Khanmaker herself bartered a deal with the Dark Lord that rules over the Shadow Walkers. A bargain was struck. The demons would be given fresh worlds and souls to consume, bolstering their forces and expanding the corrupting domain of Hell, and the Makers would be granted access to the flow of Argent. The procedure inside the Soul Spires is thus. Captives are tortured until no semblance of humanity remains within them. Bereft of hope, the mortal soul is vulnerable and can be easily extracted. This we achieve with a machine from the enlightened mind of the Khanmaker herself, the Avulsor. Once the Avulsor has done its deed and the soul has been extracted, the victim's body is ejected into the wasteland where, as before our cunning meddling, it becomes demon over time. Fuel the Eternal Flame Part 3. We gather the volatile aura and store it in vast reservoirs. There it is coalesced with wraith energy and subjected to the infernal fires of Hell itself. In the heat of the primal fire, the essence is loosed and captured for our gain. The final stage of the process is the dividend of the gains. Vast quantities of the essence are fed directly to Argent D'Nur to power our machine and drive our engine. The rest is reserved for the Khanmaker. Though she may never set foot in the Dark Realm, she has devised means to teleport essence to the Holy Land, that which she calls Urdak, the domain of angels. Her use of the essence is unchallenged, for it was she and her court that gave us design to capture the essence, and her payment is just. Yeah, just a load of bull. The big boy himself. Oh crap! Is that what the son of the betrayer is supposed to have looked like? Huh. Cool. Icon of Sin. As it is written in the prophecies of ancient sentinel scripture, the Titans, towering elder demons of the infernal age, would return unearthed from their immortal slumber. The Titans are believed to be harbingers of the end times, primordial forces of chaos and destruction. Born from the tortured spirit of the betrayer's son, it was by Hell's unholy design that the Icon of Sin was given flesh. The fearsome Titan forged from the essence of mortal suffering once bore a human soul, a soul now transmogrified and entombed within the still-beating heart of its former self. The betrayer, seeking to free his son from eternal torment within the depths of Hell, made an agreement, a pact sealed by the black fates of darkness, that promised to grant his son the chance to return from death. The son would live again, but not as human. In Hell's endless cruelty, the son was damned to become the Icon, an inhumane existence bound only to its former humanity by the now disembodied, undying mortal heart. Man, that sucks. I mean, I can understand why the betrayer would want his son back, but man. Urdak. This is Urdak, the home world of the Makers. A brief age analysis of the structures and architecture here indicates that this world is older than any other in our databases. Similarities can also be drawn to multiple pan-galactic religions, indicating that the Makers' influence was not limited to Argent D'Nur, and that over eons their influence has spread across the galaxy and potentially the universe. Some imagery is akin to religious icons in the Orion Cygnus arm of the Milky Way. I believe that's ours. An area which includes Earth. Oh, hey, okay. The name Urdak is common tongue in the Maker language, but can be approximately translated to the word for paradise or heaven in hundreds of different languages, further cementing the theory that the Makers have had a religious impact on mortal beings for millions of years. Despite their seeming godliness, the Makers have a past. At some point in their ageless history, there is mention of the Father, a logical alien entity that endowed the Makers with their vast knowledge and technical ability. Analysis of Maker artifacts and scripture indicate that the Father may have been a singular being that split to form the Maker race, or instead transferred his incalculable power into the vast structure known as Urdak, which then birthed the Makers in perpetuity. It seems that the Makers, though exceptionally long-lived, eventually suffer some form of biological and mental degradation, at which point they undergo a process known as the Transfiguration, wherein they allow a voluntary death and resurrection somehow tied to the Father. This process may have been complicated or damaged in the recent past. There are no records of how the Father came to the Makers when it was first discovered, or if it had any physical form before the Makers. The first mention of the Father is in regard to... okay, now I get what Vega was saying. The first mention of the Father is in regard to a building named the Luminarium. It was a temple of sorts, where Makers would go to seek answers. The essence of the Father was stolen by one of their own, by a Maker referred to as the Seraphim. Who the Seraphim is, or what he did with the Father's consciousness, is unknown. Records show that one day the Luminarium simply ceased to communicate, and that a deep scan of its databanks revealed no remaining trace of the entity. Urdak itself exists in an anchor state, utilizing highly advanced dimensional shift technology to allow a static position at a subquantum level. This essentially inverts their position in relation to Hell. Both planes of existence are fixed outside the bounds of the known universe, a lower and higher reality. The Khan Maker oversees all within Urdak, and now utilizes Argent energy to prevent the Transfiguration. Records of the Father. Huh. At least now I know what Vega was talking about. Actually, what's... Khan Maker. Every 10,000 years, the collective Maker consciousness, known as the Singularity, births a Khan Maker, a supreme being destiny-bound to lead all of Urdak until the next Khan is born. The Singularity, which contains the conscious soul data for every Maker that has ever lived and died, processes and refines this data as a means of selective evolution. As hierarch of the conscious neural matrix to which each Maker is interconnected, it is physically impossible for a Maker to refuse the collective order of shared consciousness and disobey a Khan. This system has functioned without error since the creation of Urdak, until now. With the disappearance of the Father, the Makers are incapable of creating a successor to the Khan lineage, allowing the existing Khan to hold her claim to the throne indefinitely. You know what? Now that I know about that Transfiguration thing, I have a theory that that's why the Khan Maker betrayed Argent D'Nur. That's probably exactly what it is, too. Oh, okay. Maker Angels. They look demonic to me. These revered figures serve as speakers for the Khan Maker, earning positions of leadership and high esteem within their species. Angels of Urdak are gifted with orator rings. Golden halos fuse to their armor as a symbol of their status and rank. These divine beings occasionally gather in conclaves or at the summons of the Khan Maker, but typically do not work together, instead being assigned as independent advisors and overseers amongst Maker-controlled worlds. Alright, now on to the demons. Like their imp brethren, the gargoyle is an agile, relentless pack hunter. Native to the Sentinel world, this beast has plagued the Sentinel Guard for centuries. As one of the few demon breeds that could bypass the walled defenses of Sentinel Prime, the gargoyle could appear without warning and claim hapless townspeople before disappearing into the wasteland. Only the most skilled marksmen of the Night Sentinels could intercept this aerial threat, a peril which demanded an ever-vigilant watch over the city's perimeter. Imp. Okay, wait a minute. Why is yours yellow? Whatever. Scavengers of the underworld, imps are among the most common of beasts found on the scorched surface of the hellscape. Lesser demons of hell, the imp possesses limited intelligence, driven only by a hunter's impulse to seek out prey, a task for which the imp is naturally suited due to its innate capacity for violence. As a result of these attributes, the imp makes for an ideal foot soldier and is often deployed in the warring legions of hell, easily manipulated and controlled by commanding highborn demons at the behest of the sovereign chapters. It is common for the imp to appear at the front line of an offensive attack, an expendable resource unleashed in great numbers to overcome and break through the enemy front. Lost Soul. The ice bomb will instantly kill a lost soul. Oh, I didn't know that. The lost soul has its origin among the damned, former humans who have fallen from the mortal world, doomed to an unliving eternity as sin-branded slaves of hell. The damned are seemingly endless in number, their populations growing by the thousands with each rise of the black sun. For many, the torturous existence of crushing slave labor is all that awaits. The bodies of the damned are brittle, and those who become broken in labor, their bodies ruined, dismembered, or otherwise incapable of servitude, are transported to the pits where their souls must be extracted for further use. Those fortunate enough to escape this process are what inevitably become lost souls, their spirits transmogrified into physical form. The lost soul knows only madness, its memory a haunted image of its former mortal life. These creatures live a fleeting existence, roaming mindlessly, seeking only that which can grant them a final death. So that's why they throw themselves at the Slayer like they do. They're trying to get him to destroy them so that they can finally have peace. Man, that's really sad. Really? The plasma rifle? Huh. Soldiers. Once frontline infantry fighting to protect Earth from the demon invasion, the Hell Soldiers have been claimed by darkness, turning them against their fellow soldiers in the midst of battle. Zombies. Possessed by the influence of Hell, these once human underlings that follow in Hell's ranks are those that have been corrupted and deceived by its power, forsaking their own humanity. Those who have fully succumbed to Hell's control cannot be saved, becoming mindless, grotesque contortions of their former selves. Heavy demons. Arachnotron. That sounds like a transformer. Arachnotron, transform and roll out! Arachnotrons are built with genetic material recovered from the remains of the original Spider Mastermind, bioengineered for cyber augmentation. While its actual body exhibits only limited mobility, the oddly cerebral qualities of the Arachnotron make it a prime candidate for the impulse-controlled prosthetic frame that it now permanently inhabits. Wait, while its actual body only... Oh, so the brain part. Okay. The brain part has limited mobility. Gotcha. The UAC facility responsible for the Arachnotron's creation, intending to engineer and weaponize demons of their own design, was overrun after an outbreak occurred inside of its assembly plant, killing everyone inside. The facility, still operating under the directive of the administrative AI, continues to manufacture Arachnotrons autonomously. So they could be mobile if they weren't in their little suit, but they're more mobile with their suit. Cacodemons, one of my favorites. Hunters of the Slowlands, the cacodemon lurks the bottomless and murky depths of hell in search of easy prey. An aimless wanderer, the cacodemon is mostly devoid of cognitive ability, sensory awareness, and otherwise commonly occurring impulses. Driven only by a singular desire to feed, the cacodemon is likely to appear wherever there is flesh to be consumed, bringing with it an insatiable propensity for hunger. It is said that the cacodemon bears some resemblance to the cycloptic titans of ancient hell lore, leading Sentinel scholars to believe that the forgotten titans may yet live on in some disembodied form. Now that I look at it, the neck, or the bottom of it, kind of looks like where a neck would have once been, so maybe it was part of a larger creature once. Carcass. The product of inhuman biomechanical engineering, the carcass was created in the remote labs of the cultist enclave. Neither truly living nor dead, it exists in a state of partial reanimation, its cybernetic armature simulating a living impulse within a decaying organic host. Ew. Devised as a means of extending a soldier's usefulness in combat after death, the unliving host can only be destroyed by severing the body from its cybernetic implants. Cyber Mancubus. Mechanized and heavily augmented, the Cyber Mancubus is equipped for frontline warfare. Equipped with dual-barrel arm-mounted mortar cannons, the Mancubus's integrated weapons system utilizes the body's naturally occurring biotoxins, refining this corrosive, viscous membrane into a toxoplasmid ammunition feed. Siphoned from the spinal gland and funneled intravenously to the weapon conversion system, the corrosive secretion is discharged by an alternating firing mechanism, which dispenses the toxoplasmid as either heated projectile or ignited fluid, the latter resulting in a flamethrower-like incendiary spray capable of burning through armored plating. Dread Knight. A variation of the Hell Knight breed, the Dread Knight has been modified and hardwired for aggression. Armed with an exoprosthesis powering energy blade augments, the Dread Knight is the lethal result of UAC cultist engineering. Epinephrine regulators modulate the Dread Knight with an unbroken flow of rage-addled adrenaline, while its endorphin receptors have been synchronized to respond with the use of its arm-mounted blades, which sorry folks, kind of getting tongue-tied. With each kill, the Dread Knight is injected with a flood of artificial dopamine. As a result of its augmentation, the Dread Knight is driven by a biochemically engineered state of pure, unbroken rage, a suffering for which respite can only be found in the act of the kill. Man, this game does a great job of making the demons kind of, well, just really sad. Hell Knight. The Hell Knight, warrior beast among demons, has earned its place over the millennia in service of the eternal archdemons. As imposed by the sovereign houses, Hell Knights have long served as barbaric enforcers of the netherworld, impelling lesser demons by way of brutality. Rare among demonkind for its innate regard for primal orders of hierarchy, the Hell Knight exhibits adherence to the prevailing rule of its demon lord masters. Requiring little compulsion on behalf of its highborn masters, Hell Knights readily serve the elder Hell Gods for the extent of their lifespans, reaping great satisfaction in the way of war and desecration. And I need water. Oh, and just FYI, I am still working on a song for this game. Mancubus. The Mancubus, hulking behemoth of the demon world, bears notable difference from those of its kind first encountered by the UAC expedition team on Mars. Unlike its brethren, which wore a naturally occurring armored carapace, this variation shows clear signs of pre-existing man-made modifications. Armor plating, augmentation to its exterior, and a sophisticated arm-mounted weapon system indicate a clear intent to upgrade and weaponize the fighting capacity of the Mancubus, whose heavy stature and resilience makes it a formidable threat in battle. Nice way of saying we decided to redesign it to look more like the original Mancubuses from Doom 1 and 2. Seriously, in Doom 2016, these guys were Cyclopses, and it just didn't make a whole lot of sense why. Maker drones. Urdak's population is mainly comprised of drones, beings that exist as extensions of the Khan Maker's will. Though each is endowed with their own unique identity, they remain biologically unable to resist a command from their Khan, and so function in a perfectly synchronized colony system. Drones never leave Urdak, their bodies not yet mature enough to avoid harm while crossing dimensions. Oh, so the drones eventually turn into the angels. Gotcha. Pain Elemental. An aberrant creation of the umbral planes, the Pain Elemental is descended from the primal, abominable depths of the demon world. Knowing only its own torment, the elemental is cursed to forge lost souls within the fiery pit of its gut, a process that is excruciating and without end for the duration of the creature's miserable lifespan. The elemental's only reprieve from its own agonizing and torturous existence is the projection of suffering into the world. For this reason, the Pain Elemental reaps great satisfaction from indiscriminate killing and the infliction of misery upon those weaker than itself. So, what I'm getting from this is that most of the demons in this game, or in this world of theirs, they don't hurt people just because of a blind desire to do so, but because of a biological, necessitation of the act of inflicting pain itself. Pinky, my second favorite demon, although my least favorite to fight. As hell emerged on Earth, the Pinky began to appear on terrestrial soil in great number, rapidly becoming the bane of existence to Ark military fortifications. I think they meant fortifications. Utilizing its armored frontal carapace, the Pinky is able to penetrate defensive encampments, breaking through walled defenses and using its ramming ability to upturn and immobilize armored vehicles. The Ark deployments, dependent on their ability to hold the line against encroaching forces of hell, could be disrupted and even overtaken by a single Pinky. Were it able to penetrate and break through their defensive matrix, allowing a greater demon influx to pour in after it. The Ark rapidly prioritized the target status of the Pinky, and issuing high-range bombardment to prevent the Pinky from gaining proximity. Prowler. A creature of darkness, the Prowler hunts from the shadows, preferring stealth and concealment to open conflict. Imbued with parietal infravision, the Prowler is able to see that which is unseen to the naked eye. Known among the Sentinels as the Night Stalker, the Prowler's preternatural sense of sight makes it a lethal hunter, capable of tracking its prey even in the pitchest black of dark. Believed to be peripherally descendant to the lesser imp brooding, the Prowler is rarely seen in groups, forsaking pack hunting for the precision of the solitary pursuit. Believed to be peripherally descendant. Oh, okay. Revenant. The Revenant okay, hang on. Need more water. This is harder to do than I thought it would be. The Revenant program, a bioweapon experiment utilizing reanimated necrotic human tissue, was believed to have been destroyed with the collapse of the UAC facility on Mars. However, the emergence of the cultist enclaves on Earth, former UAC deviations now under Hell's direct control, have begun work on a second wave of production of the Revenant program. While much of the platform's existing weapon payload is preserved as originally designed, the cyberneural programming has undergone modification. Patterned signals are wired to the host's frontal cortex, which in turn simulate a state of frenzy, unrestrained bloodlust. While these signals are active, the host is incapable of thinking or feeling anything but a singular compulsion to inflict death and violence on the living. So these things could be reprogrammed, is what I'm getting from that. Spectre. And of course, there's no preview image. Born from an ancient screed of forbidden psychomancy, it was by the Ptolemaic inscriptions of the occultic six-sealed eyes that the spectre was made manifest. Divined in desecrated ruins, untouched by light for an eternity, warlocks of an abandoned sovereign house unearthed the verboten scripture, seeking rebellion by means of black magic against the rule of the infernal archdemons. By way of sorcery were numerous abominations and ungodly forms brought forth into the hellscape, among them the spectre, ethereal amalgam of the Pinky. For their role in these miscreations, the archdemons would enact as retribution against its insurgents an unspeakable punishment, a decree of suffering that would be without end. Whiplash, my least favorite of the demons. A scavenger of the hellscape, the Whiplash creature was first discovered by UAC expedition teams in the Black Desert of the Sanctum Wastelands. These elusive serpentine demons move with great speed and agility. They are capable of striking from a great distance with retractable bladed whips concealed within their forearms. This particular demon breed became an object of great interest to the UAC engineers on Earth, while attempts to capture live specimens of this nimble and unpredictable creature proved to be exceptionally dangerous. After successfully acquiring living specimens, researchers implanted cybernetic augmentations designed to enhance the Whiplash's innate strength and lethality. In other words, they can get borked. Archvile. Forged from hellfire, the Archvile is feared among lesser demons for its innate ability to channel and manipulate the unholy powers of hell magic. Descended from the eldest race of demons, the Archvile has long held a place within the ruling caste of highborn demonkind. Possessing superior intellect among the demon ranks, the Archvile's psychomancy powers make it a natural-born ruler of the savage and primitive beasts of hell, capable of bending weak-minded underlings to serve its will. Now, all of this talks about, these demon society. Is there, are there demons that you could literally sit and have a conversation with? Baron of Hell. The firstborn barons have evolved, descendant clan of the Baron Hell breed, and are indigenous to the caustic, scorched hellscapes bordering the burning abyss. A landscape of cragged spires forged from unbreakable blackstone, tempered by the crashing waves of magmatic tide. These sulfuric plains of hell have long served as banishing grounds, a place of exodus to which the damned are sentenced as their final destination. The firstborn barons have evolved in this environment, sustaining themselves on the remnants of the damned, growing obsidian carapaces and in time becoming infused with the very incendiary matter of hell itself. Huh. Now why don't these guys get preview images? Weird. Doom Hunter. Once a race of beast-like hunters, the Doom Hunter creature was known to... Wait. Did I already read this? Yes, I already read this. Marauder. Resurrected by the definition. These fallen sentinels were returned from the dead, transformed by hell's power and... Okay. Tyrant. Demon lords to the black soul pits of Babel, the tyrants have long served as wardens and slavers of the infernal pits. Weaponized and cybernetically altered by the UAC, the tyrants are tasked with overseeing the collection and extraction of sin-branded human souls from the mortal world, their role in hell ordained by the unholy sigil of the elder hell gods. A sadistic master of lesser demons, the tyrants are feared for their cruelty and malice. And here I thought the only thing the demons feared was me. Buff Totem. In carnal manifestations of human suffering, these totems are formed from the tortured resonance of the once living, made flesh by the black arts of demonic psychomancy, a beacon of necroplasmic darkwave energy. The buff totem, once fully formed, radiates the surrounding environment with a dark cloud of hell magic. This energy possesses influence of great power over anything living caught in its wake. Demons, while in its presence, become adrenalized, their aggressiveness and bloodlust amplified. Inversely, these totems have become symbols of fear for humans who have encountered them, its presence tainting the mind with nightmarish terror. The propagation of these totems would ultimately necessitate the development of the Arc Mind Shield, a cyber neural implant which could immunize its soldiers from the psionic properties of the buff totem. Weird. Cue Ball. Former UAC engineers, these malformed zombies were rendered inept during the War for Earth. Their bodies are now a disturbing fusion of body, bone, and barrel. Tentacle. The subject of great scrutiny for ARC scientists on Earth, these hell-growth formations have appeared all over the planet, taking hold wherever hell has made its presence known, forming chaotic, seemingly random structural patterns. The propagation of hell growth has taken root at an alarming rate, exhibiting a cellular reproduction cycle that ARC scientists fear may become impossible to contain. The resultant environmental effect is extremely hostile to terrestrial life, producing atmospheric biocontagions and a multitude of organic hazards. Wherever these nest-like formations emerge, they are protected by swaths of defensive tendrils, long, thorned tentacles that demonstrate keen awareness of their surroundings, fully capable of disemboweling anything that it deems to be a potential threat to the nest. Now, the arsenal. Ballista. The weapon of choice for Sentinel marksmen. It is said in Sentinel battle lore that a single battalion of archers defended the walled city of Ilkana for 10 days and 10 nights, armed only with their ballistas. A precise weapon, the ballista fires a twin beam of superheated argent, vaporizing its target on impact. The BFG 9000. The BFG 9000 remains the most powerful weapon ever designed by the UAC, releasing a projectile of pure roiling argent plasma. Wait, it's argent? Huh. The sphere of superheated energy undulates as argent tendrils lash out, drawn to nearby organic material and immediately producing a fatal explosion from within. Dr. Samuel Hayden recently deployed the weapon to Phobos, where it served as the inspirational linchpin for the development of the BFG 10,000 defense station. When mounted inside the station's magnification array, the BFG can be fired into a series of reactive lensing rings. These rings pump a constant stream of gaseous argent throughout the barrel, which ignites in reaction to the electrified plasma, producing a tremendous energy wave powerful enough to crack the surface of a planet. And he said we couldn't just shoot a hole in Mars. The chain gun. The M220 chain gun is a 7.62 by 51 mm AE 6-barrel autocannon built for infantry deployment. Weighing over 80 pounds, the M220 was conceived as a standard-issue weapon for ARC mech soldiers fitted with exo-armor, mechanized suits capable of supporting a heavier payload. The AE cartridges use a special electromagnetic casing designed specifically for the M220's rail system, which increases projectile velocity and reduces overheating. Chainsaw. As the renowned weapon masters of the Night Sentinels professed, it is the warrior that makes the weapon great. Albeit an unconventional choice, the chainsaw has become a staple of the Doomslayer's personal arsenal. For the kind of work that requires enemy dismemberment, the chainsaw is the right tool for the job. Combat shotgun. Despite a wealth of armament options for the modern combat specialist, This trusty workhorse remains a firm favorite among operatives. When matched against superheated plasmoids or Gauss-driven projectiles, the ballistic impact of the combat shotgun holds its own. The simplicity of the design ensures the weapon is extremely quick and reliable, yet the vast array of ammunition types make it versatile and flexible. Colloquially known as the crowd appeaser, a locked and loaded combat shotgun will pacify even the most riotous of assailants. Crucible. A sacred relic of the Sentinel people, the Crucible remains one of the most mysterious artifacts known to man. Text from Argent D'Nur referenced the weapon in a revered, righteous manner. While Knight Sentinels were known to employ similar energy-based blades in their armaments, the Crucible remains the only one powerful enough to reportedly slay Titan-class demons. Only the Slayer holds knowledge of this venerated sword, for only he has been known to wield it. The blade burns with an ethereal heat, immediately cauterizing flesh as it slices through. Doomblade. A modification to the Praetor suit, the arm-mounted Doomblade is designed to increase the Slayer's short-range striking power. Strong enough to sever demonic flesh and bone, the blade's serrated edge allows the Slayer to break through enemy defenses and attack where unconventional weaponry is ineffective. Equipment Launcher. Custom built to fit the Doomslayer's Praetor suit, this shoulder-mounted ordnance system is modified to serve a variety of combat roles. Designed as a universal munitions platform, the equipment launcher is capable of altering its armament configuration with the press of a switch, activated by a reflex sensor located on the interior of the Praetor suit's gauntlet. In its flame belch configuration, the launcher spits out a gout of fire exceeding 10,000 degrees Celsius, or 1,000 degrees Celsius, setting even the sturdiest demons aflame. While in its grenade launcher configuration, the launcher fires a traditional UAC model frag grenade, a projectile-based payload not dissimilar to that of the Ice Bomb, wherein the launcher fires a IC-40 gas canister to flash freeze nearby targets. Heavy Cannon. A common complaint among users of this punch-packing conventional weapon is the weight, as most of the components are forged in tungstronium, a proprietary alloy developed to withstand the enormous stresses imparted by the optional exploding dart ammunition. However, the additional weight makes the Heavy Cannon an ideal sniper rifle, as swaying and tremors are mitigated by the massive bulk. Trigger management is of the highest priority when using this weapon, as self-inflicted gunshot wounds are common thanks to its no-pull reflex trigger system. Plasma Rifle. Designed by the UAC Military Tech Division, the plasma rifle is the standard in energy-based weaponry. Firing a superheated plasma in rapid short burst intervals, the plasma rifle is capable of overloading energy-based shielding and liquefying enemy combatants. Rocket Launcher. Forged from the metal smelting pits of the Golgothan Enclave, the Pain-Giver is a weapon of pure malice devised for a singular purpose, to enact suffering upon the weak. A tool of insidious intent, it was not by mortal design that the Pain-Giver was conceived. Really? The cultist engineers of Golgotha, as acolytes of the unholy and all-powerful will of the hell priest Ranok, were bestowed its vision, as scribes to Ranok's dark premonition. With great clarity did the Pain-Giver reveal itself to the shared consciousness of the Golgothan acolytes, and with fervor and religious zealotry did they set themselves towards its manifestation, toiling without rest until the Pain-Giver was created. Super Shotgun. A weapon from the Slayer's past, this double-barreled shotgun displays ornate, undeciphered filigree carvings. It also includes a modification, a twin-pronged hook anchored with a retractable chain designed for underbarrel usage. Though the firearm appears to be of earthly design, the meat hook attachment is composed of non-terra metals, suggesting some level of prior history off-world. Its place in the Slayer's arsenal of hell has already been recorded, as noted in the following translation from the Ungmar Codex. The sting of the Slayer's abominable arsenal casts fear into the lowest of our kin. Its blazing barrels of brimstone spew his vitriol and loathing upon us, and cast our brethren to the dirt. Mark the venom of his chosen apparatus of agony, the diabolical musket, Lucifer's bane, its claw of pig iron gouging the flesh of the martyr and hurrying him upon us. Curse the name of his beloved treasure. Curse the hell-walker's device of torment. We shall cast it into the smelter and gild his entrails with the slurry. Yeah, it didn't work out, did it? The Unmaker. A uniquely powerful weapon, the Unmaker is kept under lock and key inside the Fortress of Doom. Inspired by Sentinel weapon technology, this celestial firearm was created in Urdak by the ingenious invention of the makers themselves. Upon activation of the weapon, shutter ports slide open, and the Unmaker immediately begins launching rapid-fire volleys of condensed tridirectional argent bolts. The destructive potential of this alien superweapon is rivaled only by the BFG. And this is just tutorials. Alright, and with that, I end this episode here, and until I get the DLC for the game, this will be the final episode of the Doom Eternal playthrough. I hope you guys had fun with it. I certainly did, although there were a few hiccups here and there. But as always, please remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!